So that's the upgrade. Yeah, it's not the most expensive brand in the world, but it does what it's supposed to do and it lasts about 5 years. So that engine number will get you a tensioner and a bolt. That's a 5mm Allen key at the back end. It's designed so that you can't over tighten it. The moment you over tighten this, it spoils. So this is only 25 to 30 newtons, but you gotta Loctite this shit. Let me open the tensioner so you know what I mean when I say solid tensioner. So normally you would find this on the 16 valves, and you will find this only on the 1.8 Gamma Corsa C. So before anything else, we're going to do a teardown now and pull out the spring-loaded one that I just installed temporarily because they didn't have stock. So now they have stock. Now I'm going to pull it apart again and redo everything that I just did when it comes to the timing setup. The timing is 100%, but my timing is shifting right now, so this is going to prevent that. So this is still spring-loaded, but once it's tensioned, that spring becomes extremely stiff. So yeah, this is a solid state tensioner upgrade. So I'm gonna have to you guys have to excuse the noise in the background. It's on a Saturday, all the kids are at home, so bear with me. But I am going to record from start to finish. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna loosen up everything. As you can see, the engine's almost on its time. There's the mark, there's the line. Same goes for the bottom, it's close by. But first I'm gonna do is loosen up the pulley at the bottom. Just close up the section again. I did a refresh on the engine a couple of days ago. The only problem I had on the car was she was smoking. That was it. Head was pre-done before that. When I bought the car, I put the head on and the head was prepped. I had the cylinder head laying in my house for about a year. So I pre-purchased the cylinder head, and luckily I did that because the head that was on here was on its last. I'm going to put the car in 5th gear now and manually remove the pulley. So you guys can see I have an idea of how to do that if you don't have the equipment. So, car's in 5th gear, handbrakes is up, handbrakes is working. If your handbrakes isn't working, you're gonna wanna put a brick or two just to make sure that that thing don't move. Just find a 15 spanner real quick to untension this thing. Yeah, I didn't pre-prep any of this. I just pulled up, set you in a stand. There we go, for change. Easiest way to remove this belt. So getting it back, that's going to be the headache. Pull on the belt, and you can just hold it there with a spanner. You can pull your belt off. Not tight enough. Do it again. Belt off. The only thing you gotta do is get your spanner out. There we go. That's removed. Now all you do is just pull it off the pulley, the bottom, and leave it somewhere. It's not gonna tangle itself. I always stick it under this little section here in front. That's done. Just have a power ball and a couple of extensions, and that's it. I still gotta turn the wheel. So you're going to clock your steering wheel to the right, all the way. Don't forget to remove your terminals. I'm alone here, so nobody's going to touch there. The keys are hanging over there. I'm going to pull that off quickly. I'm not even going to bother to put the engine on this time yet. I'm just going to loosen it quickly. You can still adjust the timing after you've removed the pulley. So car's in 4th gear, so the car will slightly move when I do this. Notice that? Car's in 4th gear. So put severe tension on and yank. That's loose. The bolt's loose, pulley's off. Yeah, my pulley sits on very tight. So these are the original pulleys, GM ones. They always work the best if you do tie them down correctly. But if you don't tie them, they're gonna spoil right there. They're gonna spoil right there. Put the bolt back. Okay. Quite good. A little bit of circle. There, that's it. Nice, looks so. Ik wil net die motor op sy tyd sit. It's a bit too far. Always go back and go forward again. Well, that just confirmed that my tensioner is going loose. That is what we're trying to prevent. We don't want that. That destroys your crank and it destroys your cams. Few people are asking me, what do you mean by that? It snaps the cam in half. Because it's yanking on it, sometimes the cam snaps in the middle. It's a hollow cam. So it's not something that's made weak. It's more to do with how the things are assembled. If you don't do it correctly, that's going to happen to it. You're putting it under severe strain. These are those two different types of bits. That's an E10. So hi to the newbies in the comments that don't know who I am. Some of you do, some of you are just on purpose. I'm a mechanic from Mitchell's Plain that I'm self-taught. I learned this from another Opel mechanic. Everything I know, I learned from a gentleman that's probably about now, he's about 78 years old. But essentially, I met him almost 20 years ago, and he was at that age already where he couldn't do the job anymore, and he taught me everything he knows so that I could be the muscle. He's retired now, and I'm still continuing. How long is he retired now? I think it's 16 years he's retired now. So 16 years I'm on my own. Before that, we were working together. So somebody's going to ask me, where's my qualifications? I have over 20 years experience just doing Opels, Vauxhalls, as you guys know it. Right, belts off. So now I'm going to just take the tension off the tensioner quickly. So I find using any one of these helps. So I'm going to use a, what number is that? 25? 20. A T20, or you can use the Allen key. But essentially, there's a little hole in the tensioner. This one is brand new, but it's spring loaded. There we go, tension's off. Belt can come off. Once the tension comes off, the belt falls off. You can leave it just as it is. I need a 13. Yeah, we're going from 13mm bolts to a Allen key setup. The Allen key is a little different. And yes, I'm going to Loctite this bolt in now. The bolt shouldn't be shifting or loosening itself up in any which way. Do bear in mind you're tying into aluminium. So don't over tighten, you will strip the bolts out. Someone's gonna ask me in the comments timing. I'm going to post a video soon. I've done this on multiple occasions where I've shown the timing installation on these engines are the easiest in the world to do. It's not very difficult. It's following the procedure part. Okay, brand new tensioner, 13mm bolt. The tensioners are similar widths, but this one is wider. You can notice that little difference. So you can't use the 13mm bolt in this one. If you do, it stands out too far, and then it ends up scraping against the pulley. It will end up scraping right there. It's very irritating. The sound won't go away. You'll have to trim the 13mm head to half of that, and you'll also have to alter one of your sockets. The socket has a bevel on the inside, so obviously you will have to trim the bevel away to actually have grip on a 13mm bolt. But is the reason why you get a new bolt with a flat head. The intention is so that it doesn't scrape in any which way. So that's where the 5mm bolt comes in. We'll just grab my Loctite quickly. So yes, you are going to struggle to get the new tensioner in a bit because it needs to go behind the water pump. So you've got to slide it in behind there first. Yeah, that was my number 5. I'm going to know what 5 and then I need an adapter for the medium size electric. Proper torque. So this is what I'm using. 5mm Allen key. Diamond. That's genoeg. That's actually te veel, but that's genoeg. Crap. Normally do it die meneer met my linkerhand. Ek nou om die camera gaan. Okay. I'm not left, but I'm just used to doing this with the left. Right, that's on its position. Now it's just lining up the bolt, the hole. It's always a little bit of a fight. But not impossible. I always use the little bits because you can never get in there with your hands properly. I love this part of this job. Okay, sarcastic. Gotcha. That's a bitch. So you gotta hold it there and make sure that tab's in its hole. You can't afford your tension to shift. So all you're gonna do now is we're going to turn the bolt by hand all the way in till it hits the end of the backing plate so the tensioner don't move. Here the tensioner is on its own. you can move it manually by hand. Move the tensioner furthest to the back. Your water pump needs to be clocked correctly. Water pump needs to be clocked all the way to the back, maximum. In this particular setup. And just put your belts back. This will be a little bit of a fight to get it on. But you would rather have a stiffer tensioner than a loose one. It wasn't that bad of a fight. I gotta double check where my tension's at the bottom, at least the crank. Little to the back. So this one can shift a little to the back. Actually, don't even need to move that. I just need a 5 or 6 mil now. A little too tight to be able to shift the tensioner. See, the bolt's already locking itself. And then there's a little tab to give you your position. And we just gotta move the Allen key up. And then we're gonna lock it in place. This is gonna require 2 hands or an extra person. You gotta hold the Allen key and also lock the bolt down. You gotta keep it in this position. There we go, it's done. Now you just gotta rotate the entire engine. 1 full revolution. And then double check where the tension is lying. On this marker. That's compression. I still have a flat spot. That I'm gonna sort out now. Is that right? Stay with it now. Perfect, 1 degree behind. That's perfect. Can pull my bolt out again. Nah, what happened? Tension is mas klaar geskiet. Plastic covers goes back. So that's the solid tensioner upgrade. We'll still have a little bit of slop here and there, but not as much as the spring-loaded one. What did I do with it? So basically, this is the issue we have with the spring-loaded ones. You're not supposed to be able to do this. Not supposed to be able to pull it out by hand, and you shouldn't be able to do that by hand. So this tensioner don't tension enough. to actually hold the belt stiff. That's supposed to go in a vise and hold it. It's a very windy, very high pollen day today in Cape Town. Sinus are going into. Right, it's done. Compression has increased since I did the engine, which tells me that the rings has worked itself in. But I'm not complaining about the compression. Everything in this engine is still standard. Just got 448,000 Ks on it. Don't over tighten these things. This is how I'm holding the ratchet, and I'm just using one finger to tie the plastic cover. They tend to warm up, and then at the end of the day you can't get the bolts loose and it strips it all out. So that is why I say don't use a bigger ratchet than what you got. That's the smallest ratchet I have. Pulley. I'm gonna put my pulley back, my bottom bolt back, put my belts back. You will need to see the rest of that. You've already seen how I remove it. Yeah, I'm gonna put Loctite. I'm completed there in the bottom end, so I'm not gonna loosen that again. So guys, I don't think you need to see the reassembly. You've seen how I pulled it apart. So how you pull it apart, just the opposite way. That is how you tie it. So I hope this is helpful for you guys, but that is the tension upgrades that I have to do on all 8 valves.